All right. Well, good Thursday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. I am your meteorologist, Joseph Peterson, and let's go in and talk about the weather for your Thursday evening going into your future. We have a lot of stuff that we're going to go in and talk about tonight, but starting off with the main point. Tropical storm Dolly is here, and it could cause some problems. It really could. We've been kind of talking about this storm and just how it could potentially develop, and then we had the 90% chance. We jumped from a 60% last night to a 90% chance this morning, and it was guaranteed to form pretty much today. And it did, and it's here, and it is producing. It is producing tropical storm force conditions out there in the Atlantic around 40 miles per hour. 40 miles per hour. And so we're going to do things a little bit out of order today. We're going to talk about the tropics first, and then we're going to go on and talk about the forecast. So, what's on tap for today? Besides the tropics, daily chances of showers and thunderstorms continue Friday into Sunday. Heavy rainfall and a flood risk through the weekend, as well as a few strong storms with damaging winds possible each day. Drier conditions develop Sunday into early next week. Still have, kind of a bit to go here for when it does come to this rainfall and this flash flooding activity. But it looks like that as we get into next week, things will definitely change. Also, there is, I believe, a thunderstorm that is kind of close. I don't know. Well, it's just shower activity right now, so not really a thunderstorm. But just saying that, just in case I go silent and the stream cuts off, it's probably because of a storm. But let's go on and take a look now and see what is going on in terms of the tropics. So we're going to start off with Dolly first. Started at the 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time update to where they have Dolly out here in the southern Atlantic here, as heavy rains or remnants could affect the Leeward Islands late Saturday into Sunday, with possible impacts in the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, and Hispaniola Sunday and Monday. This heavy rain may produce flash flooding, especially in areas of higher terrain of the Leeward Islands. So already you're seeing impacts in areas down there in the islands. Again, not really to South Carolina or the U.S., but you're seeing impacts down there inside of the southern parts of kind of like the more island parts of the Gulf, and then also over into the Atlantic. So what are the key messages right now? Well, these are the key messages. But if we go in and take a look at the specific track for it as well, this is the official track, and you can see that it is continuing to move its way west, and it will stay a tropical storm. Even as you go into this weekend, it will stay a tropical storm, and will potentially produce tropical storm force conditions for the islands over there, the Leeward Islands. And so that could potentially produce damage. That could produce, obviously, like I said, heavy rainfall with flash flooding, and just overall not so great conditions. And so if you know anybody in those areas, or if anybody from those areas just happens to be watching, you need to be paying attention, for sure. You need to be paying attention and getting ready, especially for the northern areas. Now, in terms of what's going on in terms of the wind speed probabilities, again, kind of staying in that tropical storm force, but as you get to around 50 knots, you don't see anything. So they're not expecting this to become like a really strong tropical storm, which means that this may not even become a hurricane, which it's not forecasted to right now, but most likely not going to be a hurricane here for Tropical Storm Dolly. Now, what could this mean for us for the future? Well, if we go in and take a look real quick at what the actual ensembles themselves are saying, this is the hurricane models right here. Hurricane models have this thing right now kind of going towards the west, again, just continuing its way on, and it kind of just moves its way over into Puerto Rico, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Cuba, the Bahamas, and produces some rainy activity, but nothing too bad just besides heavy rainfall activity. Now, you can't look at the strength directly from this model run here. It's just, obviously it doesn't show it, but you can see the track. And so this leads me to believe that this may be a more weaker track. Because remember what I've been saying for the past couple of days, that if it's weaker, it's going to continue to move its way over towards the west. If it's stronger, it's going to force itself up towards the north a bit quicker. And so, as you can see, it's continuing its way over towards the west, which leads me to believe that the hurricane models are saying that this will not get too strong. Now, if we go in and take a look at the GEFS saying the same thing, the weaker side, but look at this. If it gets strong quick, it's going to continue to turn its way up towards the north and get out, while the weaker ones, the weaker trend, continues its way down here towards the south and west. More north and west, but continuing its way on that path. And then as we go in and take a look at the European is just all over the place. Has actually a couple of dangerous hurricanes maybe trying to set up here for a multitude of its members here, but again, not really leading any sort of landfall in the U.S. directly. There are a couple, though. I mean, you can see down here in southern Florida, there's one model run that gets going, that gets strong pretty quick, but it's only one out of like 50, so not very small possibility of that happening. And then you can also see the weaker ones towards the southern side as well, not really causing too much of anything. But the very strong ones, the ones that could potentially be like Category 4, Category 5 strength, potentially, again, not expected, but potentially, could continue to move its way up towards the north and east. Now, if we go in and take a look at the individual models themselves, we're going to go in and take a look at the forecast models here. And just as we go in and take a look at this from the North Atlantic, we're going to look at the GFS first. This is August the 27th. We go in and push this forward, and you can see just the regular GFS model has this system, Tropical Storm Dolly, moving its way over and towards the west, and just fizzling out, just being like a full-on block of just moisture, just pushing its way into the islands, into Cuba, over into southern Florida potentially. But then look at what happens as you get into next week. It starts to try and reform again in the Gulf, and then after it tries to reform, it produces some tropical storm force conditions into Texas and Louisiana. So that's a possibility too now that we're going to have to watch for. Now, like I said, this is one model run here, so we're not going to, take everything that it says right here as gospel, but it shows that there could be some re-intensification after most people may think, oh, it's done with, we don't have anything to worry about anymore. It could re-intensify as it gets right back into the Gulf here. And then as you move your way all the way through over into around the 8th or so, moving into the 9th, obviously you're not seeing anything else, just some more activity in the Atlantic just in terms of rainfall. But really, that's the only one that we're really watching for. You go over into the European is kind of on the same page, moves its way over towards the west, fizzles out, doesn't do much of anything else, and it doesn't intensify as it moves its way over into the Gulf. If we go in and take a look at the CMC, which is the Canadian model here, having this thing kind of move its way over again into the islands and producing heavy rainfall activity and re-intensifies, hits Florida as a tropical storm, rides the coast, and then gets close to South Carolina later on into September the 6th, September the 7th, September the 8th. So the Canadian model here is taking a big turn compared to all of the other models that we've seen so far. And then if we go and take a look at the Icon model has been kind of just sitting here and bringing a bunch of moisture over into the Puerto Rico areas, into the Leeward Islands areas, and it sits over those islands. It sits over those islands for a good amount of time, probably bringing in a buttload of rainfall to these islands down there as you move into the first day of September. So we have a lot to kind of just go over here for when it comes to this tropical storm. Just seriously, there are a lot of possibilities that could potentially happen here, and we're nowhere near done with it. So keep your guard up no matter where you are. Honestly, I think everybody should be watching from Texas through to Florida all the way up into obviously where we are here in the Carolinas. We need to be watching for it for sure. Because this thing, as you just saw for a couple of models, this thing can do anything. Go into the Gulf, can go and fizzle out. It could try and go up towards Florida and then re-intensify a little bit and go up towards South Carolina. So there's a lot of things that could happen. Now, make sure you have all your hurricane plans in place just in case if worst does come to worst. And, you need to go on and have generators ready. You need to go on and evacuate if you have to. But like I said, there's a low chance of that happening. but the potential and the possibility is there. Now, if we go in and take a look real quick and see in terms of the models for their actual strength, we go in and take a look down here at the intensity guidance. And again, like I said, most of the hurricane models kind of have this thing just saying a tropical storm. A couple of them have it kind of dying down as well, down into the tropical depression category after like 72 to 84 hours, not really doing too much of anything once you get into that 80 to 100 hour mark. But a couple of them, even as you get around 144 hours out, stay to tropical storm status. So that's pretty much all really that I have to say here in terms of Dolly. I mean, again, this is what it currently looks like. And, it's still intensifying, and it's still, at least for now, if I go in and check and see what the actual official winds for it is right now. It's expected to be a 40-mile-per-hour storm tonight. It's going to intensify into a 45-mile-per-hour storm tomorrow, with wind gusts of up to around 60 miles per hour or so. And then it's expected to die back down going into August the 30th. But for right now, that can change. It always can. So that's pretty much all I have to say here for the tropics. Not too much else to really discuss on, except for just make sure that you are prepared and have your hurricane plans in place just in case. But let's go on now and take a look over at what is currently going on throughout the state of South Carolina. Well, I will say this one thing real quick first, is that there is a lot of rainfall going on right now for sure. There is a lot of rainfall, and when I say a lot, I mean a lot. Because if we go in real quick and take a look over in the low country real quick, we see Yemassee, we see Blountville, we see Davidson, Blue House Corner, Catholic Hill, Whitehall. These areas are in a flash flood warning right now for the next 32 minutes, and the rainfall for the most part is leaving. The reason why this warning was here was because it says between 2 to 4 inches of rainfall has fallen, and additional rainfall amounts of 1 to 2 inches are possible in the warned area. Flash flooding is already occurring, and we've seen pictures from the National Weather Service over there inside of I-95 in the flash flood warning over there near Yemassee. And if I can go in and find the picture real quick that they have. Yeah, here it is right here. This was on I-95 inside of mile marker 36. Mile marker 36 on I-95. You can see all the rainfall here. You can see the water starting to pile up here in the ditch, and it's piling up quick. You see people treading through rainfall. And very hard to see. Very, very hard to see just due to that heavy rainfall that was going on. Now, how much rainfall actually fell with this? Well, according to just the radar itself, and we look at total precipitation, look over here, 10.5 to 11 to maybe even 12 inches of rain. Now, like I said, is that, this is just the radar. This is not observed on the ground. But the radar says that up to 12 inches of rain has fallen over there inside of Blountville, South Carolina. That is a foot. Yes, a foot of rainfall over in this area. That's a lot. That is a lot of rainfall. And hopefully, everybody that it needs to get to higher ground in that area is, because the rainfall, may be done, but there's still the after effects of it. Still the after effects. Now, if we go in and take a look and see what's going on besides that, we have a lot of rainfall still in the low country from Colleton County through to Berkeley County. Southern Midlands receiving some rainfall also over here inside of the Chesterfield areas. Bennettsville going on over into Timmonsville and Florence. These areas all receiving rainfall as we speak. We go in and scroll our way up and see what's going on throughout the entire U.S. We do have some rainfall activity from pretty much most of the Southeast, Georgia, Florida, North Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, going over into Pennsylvania, New York, Maryland. Some severe weather going on in Nebraska, Montana, and then out here in the west, the southwest, the central western parts. Doesn't matter, rainfall is going on from California over into the Four Corners area. Now, what's going on in terms of cloud cover? Cloud cover right now is looking pretty prolific right now. And so I will say that if you are planning to view the lunar eclipse tonight, don't get your hopes up too much. And I'll show you why in just a second. We see that it's mostly cloudy right now. But if we go on and take a look at cloud cover as you move later on into the nighttime, this is 11 p.m. This is 12 o'clock in the morning when it is the most prolific, when you start to see a lot of that red coming. Look at how much cloud cover we see over the state of South Carolina going into around 12 o'clock in the morning. That is a lot. Remember, the blue is the clouds, the white, no clouds. So the upstate, may see it fine going over into like Rock Hill, Charlotte areas. They may be seeing, clear skies during that time. But look over here in the low country. Look over here in the Grand Strand, the PD areas, the Midlands, the going over in just pretty much the south and eastern parts and central parts of the state. Cloudy. So if you are planning to look at it, don't be shocked if it's covered up by cloud cover. And, a lot of people may be disappointed tonight. And that's just, it is what it is at that point. And, can't control the cloud cover. And so if it's going to be there, it's going to be there. But hopefully everybody that does want to go outside and see the lunar eclipse tonight at around 12 o'clock in the morning, it could be earlier, but the main full thing will happen at 12 a.m. Hopefully everybody will be able to see it. Hopefully just some peeking could come out even if it's just for a couple of seconds. But that's just for tonight. We go over into tomorrow. Cloud cover activity tomorrow morning looks again just all over the state. We get over into around 4 p.m. tomorrow, still cloudy. We get over into the evening hours, same thing into the early morning hours of Saturday. And Saturday going into the afternoon still looks cloudy. So we are going to stay cloudy going all the way throughout the next 48 hours here. Current temperatures right now, we're talking about 79 in Somerville, as well as 81 in Charleston, 81 in Beaufort, as well as Hilton Head Island, 78 inside of Orangeburg, as well as 80 in Georgetown, Myrtle Beach, 78 in Conway, 78 also in Columbia, as well as 75 in Greenville, 76 Spartanburg, and 76 in Gaffney, 76 York, and Rock Hill. Now for your air quality, as you move over into tonight, it looks like that a good amount of us will be inside of that moderate risk of air quality. If you are inside of that yellow area, please make sure that you're paying attention for that air quality tonight, because we do not want, anybody to be outside when they shouldn't really be outside due to air quality. Make sure that it doesn't get too bad, especially if you're out there for a long period of time. Low temperatures for tonight, we're talking about 69 in Greenville, 69 Spartanburg, as well as 72 in Columbia, Orangeburg, Sumter, as well as 72 in Moncks Corner, 75 in Charleston, as well as 72 in Georgetown, 75 Myrtle Beach. High temperatures for tomorrow, we're talking about 89 in Greenville, 87 Spartanburg, as well as 88 in Columbia, 89 Orangeburg, 90 in Walterboro, 88 Charleston, 87 Georgetown, and 86 in Hilton Head Island. Heat index values for tomorrow, we're going to start to see a couple of more areas get up to around 102, 103, but still not as hot as it has been. Rainfall for the next 24 hours. A lot of areas will see rainfall for the next 24 hours. I mean, that's just the pattern that we're in. And tomorrow, especially for when it comes to excessive rainfall, you'll see why a lot of areas could potentially see some rainfall. But 100th of an inch to a 10th of an inch for a good amount of areas, 10th of an inch to a quarter of an inch as well. But a quarter of an inch to a half an inch for areas like Columbia, going over into Kingstree, going over into Georgetown, Myrtle Beach, maybe even a half an inch to an inch in areas like Moncks Corner, going into central Horry counties, northern Georgetown counties, going over into Williamsburg counties as well. So we have a lot of areas that could potentially see a half an inch to an inch without flash flooding. Again, without flash flooding. Now, if we look at the crazy score currently, we're at a 65. Pretty obvious as of why there's a lot of rainfall right now throughout the low country and throughout the PD areas. There's a couple of special weather statements going on down there. Beaufort under a special weather statement for 50 to 55 mile per hour winds. Same thing with Ridgeland, Bluffton, going down to Hilton Head Island. 50 to 55 mile per hour winds about to move through there. But also the flash flood warning and the flood advisories that are out also help push this thing up to a 65. We're leading in the alerts category by 41 points. Conditions at around 24. As we go on now and take a look over at our official SPC outlook as well, there was supposed to be a risk for some isolated damaging wind gusts today up there inside of the upstate, but it seems like that the majority of that severe weather is kind of happening, or strong to severe weather is going on right now inside the low country. Now, don't get me wrong, There was some severe storms up there inside of the upstate today, but or at least some strong storms up there in the upstate today. But I know, for example, the Midland areas got hit with some storms as well. I know Aiken over there was under a flood advisory or a flash flood warning. It may have been a flash flood warning over there in the central part. So there was a good amount of thunderstorm activity, strong to severe, from the upstate and in the Midlands, I believe, as well. Tomorrow it expands. Friday, August the 28th, isolated damaging wind gusts of up to 60 miles per hour up there inside of the upstate, the Midlands, even inside the PD, and of course, parts of the Grand Strand area. Is there any risk of hail? Is there any risk of tornadoes for tomorrow? Well, it looks like right now, no risk of tornadoes and no risk of hail. And then on Saturday, no risk of severe weather yet. Could change, but Saturday, no risk of severe weather. Excessive rainfall. This is kind of the part that I've been kind of looking at and kind of just keeping an eye on. We go over into tonight, still risk of isolated flash flooding. But then as we go into tomorrow, things get a lot worse. We're now talking about scattered flash flooding for areas in the Midlands, the Low Country, the PD, the Grand Strand. Those areas have a risk of scattered flash flooding going over into tomorrow. Now, as we go over into the upstate, those areas also have a risk of isolated flash flooding going over into tomorrow. Now, it's not going to be as bad as the 15% risk in the yellow, but the 5%, you should still be taking it seriously because, if we can almost see a foot of rainfall in areas in a 5% area, that's not going to happen, every time that there is a green 5% area. But if that can happen inside of a marginal risk, a slight risk could do potentially more. So make sure that you're paying attention for flash flooding tomorrow throughout all of the state. Doesn't matter where you are. Saturday, isolated flash flooding again from the southern upstate down towards the coastal areas. And then as we go over into Sunday, we're good. Monday, we're also good. So we're going to go in and take a look now at the models. Time is at the bottom part of your screen. Please make sure that you pay attention because that is very important to do so. If you lose track of where we are, good chance that you may not be able to find out where we are. So please make sure that you go in and pay attention. We're going to start off here with the models for tonight, with the short-term models. And as you go in and move this forward to 9 p.m., moving on all the way to around 11 p.m. and 12 o'clock in the morning, you could see some shower activity, still storm activity, going on into the overnight hours. We get all the way to 2 a.m. to around 5 to 6 a.m. or so, and rainfall activity is going on. Even though it's pretty light, we do see a bunch of rainfall activity in areas of the Low Country, in areas of the Grand Strand tomorrow morning, potentially. Now, as we get into around 10 a.m. all the way to 12 o'clock p.m., showers, storms, still potentially getting going in areas of the western parts of the state. So, coastal areas could also be getting in on some action as well going into tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon. Make sure that you're paying attention for that. And storms, just in general, are going to be there. They're just going to be there. Now, if we go in and take a look at our long-term future, so even past Saturday afternoon or so, or hold on, let me go back real quick because we were only taking a look real quick at the short term. I'm going to actually go back and go to the 18th. This is what I wanted right here. Okay, so scratch that. I'm going to move over here into tomorrow, and then as we go all the way to around 2 p.m. or so onward into around Friday night, going all the way to around 9 p.m. and onward to Saturday morning. Look at Saturday morning. Look at Friday night. Friday night comes in, a bunch of shower activity, bunch of storm activity. As we get into the evening hours, as we get into Saturday morning still, bunch of rainfall activity, bunch of storm activity. And then as you get even into around 12 p.m. on Saturday. So it looks like a rainy weekend, just like a rainy end to the week in general, is in store for us. No matter really where you are, you have that shot to receive rainfall activity and thunderstorm activity going over into Saturday afternoon. Now, I'm going on and moving on into the long-term future just because we know that rainfall is going to be present with us as we move throughout the next 48 hours, but what about for past the next 48 hours? Well, we go over into Saturday evening still looking active. We go over into Sunday as well, going over into Monday. And rainfall activity calms down. Calms down pretty good as we go into Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday comes in, we're still looking pretty good. Same thing with Thursday and Friday. High pressure takes over, and that's the main reason why we are seeing this nice weather right now throughout the entire southeast, moving over into, for example, Friday, for example, Thursday and Friday, because we have this high pressure that's here. Now, it does start to break down a little bit as you get to around Saturday or so, going into Sunday a little bit, but it still stays relatively dry no matter really where you are, and shower and storm activity could still happen during that time frame. But just look at how dry it gets. I mean, just all the way from next week Monday going into next week to the week after next week Monday. Just look at how dry it is. Not a lot of rainfall. Not a lot of rainfall as we move past this weekend here. So if you need the rainfall, make sure, hopefully you get a lot this weekend right here to hold you off, because once we get past this week right here, I think that we're mostly going to be in a quiet zone as we move over into next week. Now, in terms of the GEFS for rainfall, GEFS has been kind of slowing down as well. It only shows maybe 1.5 inches for some areas. For areas that it was showing maybe up to 2 inches. You see the Low Country area, the Grand Strand area, up to only 2 inches, where the GEFS was showing maybe a little bit more than that. So you can definitely see the impacts that this high pressure may be having on us. Even the European as well. European is dropping down. Some areas may only get 1 inch of rainfall over the next 360 hours, while other areas may get, maybe around 3 inches or so. So still kind of staying up there for the coastal areas. But regardless, you're seeing a genuine decline in terms of rainfall totals as we move throughout the next 360 to 384 hours. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our temperatures here. We're going to start off here going into Saturday, going over into Sunday as well. Warm temperatures are here, and so I think that's the main thing that we're going to be paying attention to next week. Just due to all the rainfall being gone, a bunch of sunny, activity kind of coming in, that's going to bring in the chance for some heat to come in and be around 15 to 20 degrees above average. We get over into Wednesday. Look at Wednesday, 20 degrees above average. Maybe even more. It's going to be a heat resurgence next week. So if you think that we're done with the heat, sorry, but you're unfortunately incorrect. As we even go into Thursday and Friday, we even have some more areas that are going to be around 20 to 21 to 23 degrees above average. We get over into Saturday of next week here, still 20 to 25 degrees above average. We move over into Sunday, and then finally a cold air mass tries to come in, maybe going into like the second full week of September there, or the second week of September, and things start to kind of calm down in terms of the major heat that we may be having, but it still may not be done after that. So heat's not done. We have a long way to go there. And then what about our temperatures for the future? We go in and push this over into Sunday, moving over into maybe even Monday or so. And you see that we're still inside the 90s. We get over into Tuesday. We're up into the hundreds. Up into the hundreds as we move into next week. Wednesday comes in. We're into around the 105 degree range. Same thing for Thursday, up to around 103, 104. Friday comes in, same thing. And then just as we move throughout the majority of the week next week, we may be back to the 100s. So drier, yes. Hotter, yes. And then for those heat index values as we move over into next week, as you move into Tuesday, back up into the hundreds. Wednesday, we're trying to get back to 110. Thursday, back up to close to 110, maybe higher than that. And then as we move into Friday, Saturday, Sunday, still trying to get close to 110 almost daily as we move into next week. Now, let me go and clear that off. There we go. Hopefully that did not break anything. Okay, no, we're good. All right, great. And then as we go over into our temperatures here, just for the long-term future, on an average basis, you can see the temperatures kind of just staying more in the upper 90s, but the ensembles kind of have these temperatures lowering as we get more into September. What does that mean? I guess only time will tell, but we can see for sure that temperatures are trying to lower themselves as we move later on, meaning a cold air mass or a cold front may be trying to move its way through as we get over into midweek or mid-month of September. So I guess we'll see what happens there. But that's pretty much all I have to say here in terms of the models. So we already talked about the tropics. So it's drought time because there is no earthquakes today. It's drought time. If you have no idea what in the world I'm talking about where we go on and predict and see what has occurred for the drought forecast over here inside of the state of South Carolina. And so the polls inside the chat right now, there are 4 options. Option number 1, you think that the drought has expanded. Option number 2, you think that the drought has shrunk or stayed the same. Option number 3, the drought is gone, but the abnormally dry remains. And then option number 4, the drought and the abnormally dry is gone. So those are our 4 options. And just looking at this map already, I see a lot of areas didn't really receive rainfall over the past 7 days or so. Or actually, hold on, this is the wrong map. This is the past 7 days. There we go. Okay, that makes a lot more sense now. That was the past 24 hours. This is the past 7 days. And there still are a couple of spots that may, have not received, any rainfall or so. But a lot of areas have. Inch and a half over there in Charleston. 2.6 inches in Myrtle Beach. Some areas got up to around 4 to 5 inches of rainfall. So, good amount. Definitely a good amount of rainfall here. And I think that I'm going to have to stick with the majority and say that the drought has shrunk / stayed the same. You can go in and make your prediction in like the next 30 seconds because we're going to go in and reveal the answer at that time. But we've had a good amount of people tune in. 14% thinks that the drought has expanded. 71% thinks that the drought has shrunk or stayed the same. And 14% thinks that the drought is gone, but the abnormally dry remains. So we're going to go in and end this poll right now. If you did not vote, you'll have next week too. We'll be, here same time, 8 o'clock p.m. Thursday. But we're going to start off here and take a look and get a drum roll going. And it seems like that, 100%. Drought has 100% shrunk, or at least stayed the same. I can tell automatically, just without really any sort of prerequisite knowledge from the past one. So we're going to go in and give the majority, which was me, and then the 72% that said that the drought has shrunk / stayed the same, a round of applause because we got it correct for tonight. So again, congratulations to us. If you did not win, again, you have next week. So it's not the end of the world or anything like that. But here's what we're kind of looking at right here. You can see inside of the low country, the first thing that I noticed, the low country is getting a lot of relief. I see over there inside the Tri-County area from Charleston up through North Charleston, up through Somerville, up into Ridgeville. That area is now outside of the D2, now inside of the D1, inside of the moderate drought now, so no longer a severe drought anymore, so that's good. Another big thing that I see over there in North Myrtle Beach, there is still a little sliver of the D4 exceptional drought, but the majority of that exceptional drought over in that area is also gone. So also very good to go in and look at the upstate. Looking good as well. That drought up there kind of stayed the same. I don't think it really went away too much, but a lot of yellow up there is starting to pop up. I see areas in the western low country as well getting in on some drought relief. And we still have areas inside of the extreme drought right now that are, still struggling a little bit. So, rainfall is still needed, no matter, how much rainfall we've gotten so far. And we still need more rainfall for these areas until we get this drought completely out. But we're making good progress, so I'm happy for this. Next week, I'm not quite sure, because next week, obviously, as we know, it's going to be a bit of a drier week, but hopefully the rainfall from this weekend could hold us off and not expand. But that's all I have to say here for the drought, so we're going to go on real quick and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us here at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. Starting off with my Aunt Lewis, she comes in first saying, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. 84 degrees, currently 78. Today was a very cloudy day. Tropical storm is on the way. Not here. necessarily yet, maybe, potentially. But for a lot of other areas like the Leeward and the Windward Islands, absolutely. What a muggy, wet day in Georgetown. Well, thank you so much for that weather report again where you are. At my house today, it seems like, for the most part, that things were also wet as well. We had around 0.27 inches of rain. Moderate rain is falling right now as we speak. Currently 75 degrees. The high temperature for today at my house was 86. So not as hot. Not as hot. That will change next week. And then my Nana says, hello, Jano. Hello to you. I had a busy day today. Well, I'm glad that you did get a lot done at least. And then Mr. Anthony says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Trail says, greetings, everyone, on a Zoom call. That's fine. And then Thad says, good evening, Joseph and the 360 Weather family. I trust all is well. We actually got some rain today. Oh, my goodness. Hold on. Wait a minute. I don't have a bomb sound, but I can play this. I mean, just totally, just amazing. Amazing. Absolutely. And, we'll do it one more time. Just because I'm actually, you actually got some rainfall. Actually, you got some rainfall. I mean, it's been like 2 or 3 weeks, but like, it's finally here. Yeah, I know everybody over there was happy for sure. I mean, I know everybody over there was happy for sure when they started seeing some rain over there today. Honestly, I wouldn't even be shocked if there were some people who went outside and started dancing in the rain, just started doing something because they haven't seen rain in like, what is it, like 2, 3, 4 weeks at this point? A lot of areas haven't over there in San Antonio. But we're going to go on and talk about San Antonio for your future and see what you have. But I'm glad to hear actually that you got some rainfall over there on a serious note. And that's all that I can see here in terms of the chat for tonight. So we're going to go in and ask the top fan question of the night for tonight. You may be asking, top fan question, what am I talking about? I'm talking about a question that I asked to see who was paying attention. Because whoever was paying attention the most should get this question correct for tonight. And I'm going to go on and check and see who can remember, not the heat index value, but what about, we haven't done one of these in a minute. What about with the current, or with the low temperatures for tonight? Whoever can guess who had the highest low temperature for tonight, again, the area or the city, the town, the city or town that had the highest low temperature for tonight will win the top fan of the night for tonight. So again, another layup question. I've been giving too many layup questions because all you have to do is just name any sort of city or town and you can get the answer correct. I'm gonna have to start asking some harder questions from now on. But another layup question for tonight to see who can go on and see who was paying attention to see what was the highest low temperature for tonight over in the state of South Carolina. Again, it's a city or a town. So whoever guesses that correctly first will win the top fan of the night for tonight. So we're going to go on real quick and talk about the 4 areas outside of South Carolina. You might be asking, what are these 4 areas that I'm talking about? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. Before I go in and talk about these areas, though, we've had 100 people tune in tonight and only 8 likes. Yes. Yes, you heard that correctly. We've had 100 people tune in tonight, and we only have 8 likes. I don't know what in the world is going on there, but if you're a part of that group of 92 that just showed up and did not hit the like button at all, please go on and do so. It's free, and it always will be. Again, almost 100 people have tuned in tonight, and we only have 8 likes, now 9. But again, if you're a part of that group, please go on and hit the like button. It's free. Obviously, you don't have to pay for it, as always, and I'm not making any money from this at all. So we're going to go on and check and see what's going on with these 4 areas, though, and then we'll go on and talk about that stuff later on. We're going to start off with San Antonio first. You have low temperatures tonight at 79, high temperatures for tomorrow at 100, and then low temperatures tomorrow night also at 79. Chance of thunderstorms for tonight. Tomorrow, slight chance of thunderstorms. Same thing with tomorrow night as well. Now, if we go on and take a look and see what's going on in terms of severe weather, excessive rainfall, it does look like that you are still in the clear because after you get past tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, it's back to being hot and dry for you. So enjoy the rainfall that you get today and tomorrow because it is going to be a long time potentially before you see some more rainfall. Now, as you move over into, well, I kind of actually already covered everything. It's going to just continue to stay hot and dry after tomorrow. We move over into Raleigh, North Carolina. You have low temperatures tonight at 70. High temperatures for tomorrow at 87. Low temperatures tomorrow night at 71. Slight chance of thunderstorms for tonight. Tomorrow, chance of thunderstorms. And then tomorrow night, thunderstorms are likely. You have a marginal risk of severe weather. Isolated damaging wind gusts of up to 60 miles per hour is possible for you. And then in terms of excessive rainfall, it does look like you have a risk of excessive rainfall as you go over into tonight. Tomorrow, scattered flash flooding is possible. And then Saturday, isolated flash flooding is possible for you. Now, what's going on over there inside of your future? Well, it looks like right now that you are currently in the mix of the 80s, but next week, you'll be back up into the 90s and it's going to get dry. So Sunday probably will be one of your last days of potentially receiving rainfall because once you hit that Monday there or so, it's going to become hot and dry. Now, as we go on and take a look at Philadelphia, let's see if we got any, see if we have received any chats tonight for the top fan question of the night. See, my Aunt Lula says 76 in Spartanburg. Unfortunately, that is not correct. Not correct. Spartanburg was lower than that. There is a place that is actually not too far from 76, though. But no, not Spartanburg. Spartanburg could potentially be the lowest low temperature, but it is not the highest low temperature. Now, what about for Philadelphia? You have low temperatures tonight at 70, high temperatures for tomorrow at 87, low temperatures tomorrow night at 71. I don't know what happened with the temperatures there, but slight chance of thunderstorms for tonight, tomorrow. Chance of thunderstorms there, thunderstorms even likely, and then tomorrow night there's another chance of thunderstorm activity. Now, for excessive rainfall, you do have a risk for excessive rainfall tonight. Scattered flash flooding is possible. Tomorrow, isolated flash flooding is possible. And then other than that, we're not looking at anything else. Now, for your severe weather risk, it does look like you have a risk of severe weather for tonight. Scattered severe storms are possible for you. So you're going to have to watch out for that, see what happens there. As you are under a severe thunderstorm watch, and you actually have a tornado warning that's getting over into, you're kind of moving in towards your area, but not really posing an impact to you right now. But a lot of those severe storms are to your west right now, moving east. So your severe weather threat's not done. And then as in terms of your future, it does look like that you will continue to kind of just stay into the 80s. But next week, up into the 90s you go, and it gets dry for you. And then I see 110. That's not a location that I'm looking for. Remember, the question for tonight is, what was the lowest or the highest low temperature for tonight, and where was it? Where was it? Not what the actual temperature is. I probably should have emphasize that a little bit more, but what is the actual location that it is, not an official temperature itself. And then 74, no, not 74. 74, it's close to 74, but not quite. Not quite. And then finally, for Duncan, Oklahoma being the final location for tonight, you have low temperatures tonight at 72, high temperatures for tomorrow at 100, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 73. Slight chance of showers for tonight, and then tomorrow, no precipitation at all. For your excessive rainfall and severe weather, it does look like that you are mostly in the clear, and then for severe weather, you're also good. So what's going on in terms of the entire U.S. weather news-wise? Well, dangerous heat will persist across the southwest through Saturday with daytime highs of 110 to 115 degrees. Extreme heat warnings remain in effect, as well as dangerous heat inside of the southern plains beginning this weekend. Heavy to excessive rainfall over the Carolinas Friday may lead to isolated to scattered areas of flash flooding. So that's kind of what we're looking at here. We also have a risk of severe weather as we go over into tomorrow. Tomorrow, risk of severe weather, obviously over here in the Carolinas into Atlanta, going over into Virginia. The Dakotas receiving some severe weather. And then on Saturday, from the Dakotas down through Wyoming, southeastern Montana, and Salt Lake City, Utah, having a risk of severe weather going into Saturday. And overall, I don't really see anything else here for me. And I don't see anything else inside the chat. So I'm assuming that we are all questioned out. But the answer for tonight was Charleston. Charleston had the lowest or the highest low temperature for tonight. The highest low temperature for tonight, 75. And you can see it right. Well, it kind of went away, but it was there for a second. Charleston 75, and nobody said Charleston for tonight. So unfortunately, we do not have a top fan of the night for tonight. But tomorrow is always here. So I will be here tomorrow evening for your Friday evening forecast update. Make sure that you are there for that. And hit those 2 buttons before you leave if you are new. I don't see anything in terms of my email for tonight. Yes, I do. Take that back. I have a couple. Actually, I do have a couple. These are all right here from Thad. He sent in 2 submissions to the scweather360.com account, and it just says, "We got rain." And that is what he put inside of the submission box there. So again, thank you so much for these pictures. If you want to be like Thad here and send in photos, you can by going to scweather360.com. Again, scweather360.com. So where we will go on and show any sort of weather photos that you do have for us. And again, this is not in South Carolina, but inside of San Antonio, Texas. And then he also sent in some more. I don't know if those are the same. It looks like that they are not the same. So here is one other picture that he has here. From, again, his house in San Antonio to the next one. And then he also has another one down here. I think this is a video, actually. So I'm going to go in and get this downloaded real quick. Should take about a couple of seconds. So again, this is the video that he sent in. And then there was also another one that he sent in. He sent in 5. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He sent in 6 photos for tonight and another video. And another video for us. I don't know if it's the same one. But here it is right here. Rain. Yep, so again, rain, he says, as they got over there inside of San Antonio. So I'm super happy that you're able to go on and get this rainfall over there inside of San Antonio, as you guys definitely do need it for sure. But that's all I have to say. I will be back tomorrow morning for your Friday morning forecast update. Make sure that you are there for that. And then also tomorrow evening for your Friday evening forecast update, 8 o'clock p.m. I'll be back then. Hit those 2 buttons before you leave if you're new. And if you want to go in and send me a photo, again, scweather360.com. Hit the like button, subscribe button, and the share button, as we're at 828 subscribers, trying to get to that main goal of 900 by the end of September.